Hey, hey, Blue Table fans! Shockwave of happiness across the world for you all. All right, so let's take a look at those comments, shall we? All right. By the way, what is Shawn watching on Netflix? Supergirl. Yeah, I love those comic book shows. Absolutely fantastic. You know, it seems like my head is not in there right. Let's see if I can get this to go down. Come on now. Oh, that might have been too much. Okay. There we go. That feels better. And also, Chef's Table. I think it's a Netflix special in French, but you actually have to watch it because it's subtitled. And I've been doing French cooking. Ha ha. Ha ha. You can really smell it in the house right now. So if I have any French fans or viewers, speak up. We'd love to hear from you. All right. So what else? It's the run-up to Valhalla, so I am just like, patow. Rick came by the other day, and we were talking for a while. And yeah, I need to start doing some battle reports. You're definitely going to get some from up at Valhalla. And yeah, I think that's been lacking. I'm still getting a lot of inquiries and setting up a lot of projects, but I am open, so open for business. So if you have a project you'd like done, contact me at projects@bluetablepainting.com. We have a great special running for September. It's 40% off your painting cost with artistic license. So yeah, that's nice. Can you guys hear the chair, by the way? Because I'm very self-conscious of it. I wanted to do Ultimate D&D up at Valhalla this year, but no, I'm just gonna sit on it and slowly work it up. And yeah, I'm enjoying painting again. It is really fantastic. Makes me happy inside my heart. Okay, let's get to it. Let's see. Let's keep going. You know what? Let's refresh the page just in case there's new comments. Okay. Vid start. Okay, I do not know what that is. Okay, Andler says, hey Shawn, have you not read the new rules for summoning? You have to pay for everything you want to summon. In other words, it's bloody useless now. Schemes of 40K responds, wait, does it say you can only summon them once? Can you summon them straight into close combat? Okay, so in Age of Sigmar, there's a lot of things that can summon other units to the board, like brand new units. So what happens is you need to have a points reserve that you pay for summoning them. Now this is different than 40K reserves in two major ways. One, it starts on turn 1. 2, other than moving, like the summoning counts as their movement, but that's it. They can still do things in their hero phase because they're summoned during the hero phase. So as far as I know, correct me if I'm wrong here. And then there's movement, and then there's close combat. And they can charge. So they can charge, and you can start it on the first turn. So basically, it really is sort of an alpha strike thing where you can get guys into position very quickly using summoning. And I think that's really the advantage. The disadvantage is it takes a resource, which is you need to spend some of the summoner's time. So a wizard, excuse me, I've got like a little bit of jam on my thumb. It's kind of bothering me. I was eating English muffins with apricot jam. So yummy. I don't know if I mentioned this, but I've been cooking French. Am I forgetful or what? I think I mentioned that earlier. So, okay, so that guy could have cast a bolt, he could have cast a protective spell, he could have cast some other spell that he has, but he's not doing that, he's just getting the unit onto the table. But the summoning, and there's a chance that it won't appear, but the summoning, like, thresholds are very low. It's not like you're like, oh man, come on, I gotta summon that guy. Ah, I need this high number. No. They're generally summoned on a 5 is like the average. Spells are usually a 5 or a 6 on 2d6. So they've got like a 70 or 80% chance of going off and getting right to where you need to go. So what you need to look out for when you're assessing units is things that can charge an extra distance, because they have to be set up. Usually I haven't found an exception to this. Maybe there is one. But they have to be set up 9 inches away. And you only have to be a 1/4 inch from your target. So the roll you need is a 9. So some things give you +1 to your charge. So it's possible for your summoning person, especially if they're fast, to move up, summon something up to 18 inches away. So let's say they move 6 inches. Then they summon something 18 inches away. So we're at, 24 inches? Yeah, you can just, and then that thing can charge in. Yeah, I think, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. So, show more. Here we go. Okay. Shawn, could you do a Christmas in September? Doesn't have to be an unboxing, but the jingle and dance always brings a smile to my day. That's from Yip Snake. Sorry, I'm probably not going to do the Christmas dance again. I'm not really feeling inspired. Harry Fotiata says, did you ever watch Bob Ross painting? I love you for following your dream and leading ours. Oh, aren't you sweet? I'm leading people's dreams, apparently. And it feels to me like I'm doing this long, like years-long face plant, I'm like, I've learned a lot the last couple of years. It's been awesome. So, no, I've watched Bob Ross a couple times, like in YouTube videos. You know what I should do? I should start having you guys along for my painting. Just put the camera there and just talk about what it is that I'm doing. I think that'd be fun. Okay, Dominic Lizwinski says, when the going gets tough, what keeps you going and how do you bounce back? I am a fan of Esther Hicks, and she says, if you're ever like getting wound up, just stop. Don't try and just completely disengage with whatever that is and go do something else. And just don't think about it. And I think there's something to that. A lot of those things tend to just sort of resolve themselves. And I just don't do anything. I just ignore it for a couple of days and see what happens. And really, it's interesting. Like, I saw this show on what would happen if all the people were gone, and it's like, nature takes over pretty quick. And that's of great interest to me, is what I call resting state. What is the resting state of something? Meaning, what does that person or that object or that situation, what does it do when it's just left alone, left to its own devices? And it's a great interest to me, too, personally. I call it... I use the term, what is my natural state? Like, what does Shawn Gately do if there's no rules, expectations that come from inside or outside? What's my deal? What do I do? And so the theory is, because I'm not a Taoist, but I think there's really something to it, and I'm interested in that, which is the idea that there's a natural flow to things, what's going on. And you can fight it or you can go with it. And if you go with it, you'll be at your greatest power. I use the term being centered. So if I'm centered, that's when I'm just being me and doing what I do. And, well, what does that look like? And, is that bad? Well, who's to judge that? You don't go down the street and be like, oh, that tree's the wrong shape. That's in the wrong place. You just accept it. But with other humans, we kind of get in there and want them to be a different way. That, it bothers us. And I make a conscious effort not to do that. Just to be... But it's been great for parenting, just to see what my kids are doing. What I found is, when I backed off, they're fine. They just naturally go about being their wonderful little selves, and they really don't need a lot of force or influence. Okay, so how do I bounce back? I just go do something that feels good. I think that's very important. Go take it easy on yourself, disengage from whatever it is, and just go for a walk or smell the flowers or go do. And if you can do it for an extended period of time, I've read that the natural power of everything, the universe, can rewrite your life if you disengage for 30 days. And I mean like leave your wallet and keys, just go somewhere else and do something different. And takes a lot of courage to do something like that. Can we bring back Gatelynomics as it really helped me with my own life? Probably not. Like I said, I'm not worried about that stuff. It's beyond me. And that's been a really big question for me in my personal life the last couple of years, which is, I tried really hard and this is what happened. That was kind of my big question about a year ago. I was like, yeah, we're good. I've only been going 11 minutes. So I was like, oh, okay, obviously the results are in and they show Shawn has been taking the wrong strategy to his life. This was about 2 years ago. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is where I am. And right now I'm in a different position and I'm like, okay, awesome. And we talk about rock bottom and I'm like, you know what? Rock bottom might not be a bad place to be, which is, well, again, the idea of resting state. What happened? Like, if you have a giant pile of bills, I had a pile of bills like a foot tall. It was insane. Like, I didn't even want to open them because I knew, well, there's nothing I could do. I would work and work and work and work and work, and then, stress ball, and then I would just go to sleep. And one day I was just like, oh, yeah, this is the maximum I can do. This is all I can do. This is it. This is what you get. This is all that I could produce. And if that wasn't enough, then, well, and it's just like this horrible feeling. And then I was like, well, maybe I just need to release myself from that and just do the best I can and then feel good instead of doing the best I can and feeling awful. So 4 Agreements. Always do your best. Great book, by the way. Highly recommend it. It's easy to understand, difficult to actually do it. Okay. Are you interested in Gene Stealer Colt models or have you seen them yet? Yes! Yes to both! I'm doing Gene Stealer Colt, man. I'm back! I'm back for 40K because those guys are awesome. I love the whole story of them. And it's significant because it's a new army. It's a new army. Odd Dog Spot Dog, thank you for that, says, you and your company are such an inspiration. I've been a fan of BTP over a year now. When my son and myself came across its content accidentally, our great joy is to watch the myriad Warhammer vids, no matter how old. Thanks. Yeah, don't try and watch them all. You'll lose your job and your family. Age of Sigmar is interesting enough, I suppose, but I just can't get around those large maneuvering box of troop and the old style lore. What are you talking about? Okay, so Warhammer Fantasy had the bricks of things and in 9th edition? I can't remember where I think it was 8th edition. But anyway, they were like, oh, now 50. Have 50 guys, paying out 50 guys for one thing to move around in a giant brick. And I was just like, the pageantry is great, but come on. People would ask for quotes on armies and it'd be this astronomical number, like $5,000 or whatever. And it was just beyond a normal person's thing. And now you can crack an Age of Sigmar 2,000 point army ready to go bust heads for right around 30 to 50 figs. My Oryx, by the way, ready to paint. Booyah! Yeah, I got them right here next to me. 2,000 points, 29 models, or is it 29, 30 models? That's it. And every one of them, awesome. Just a great fig, great sculpts, great kits. I love it. So it's just a news flash, Age of Sigmar is now like a skirmish game, and a good one too. So, have you seen the Warhammer 8.5 Facebook page? I haven't. Please. Now with GW's blessing, it caters to those huge fans of the old style game with plenty of miniatures still available, not only from GW, but from those that are backing the very popular Ninth Age movement. Hey, I'm all for that. That's awesome. You guys go. I'd love it if they brought it back to like 5th edition, you know, where you'd have a unit of 10 guys and they would just be out like rocking it. You know. Do you think you'll ever play old style game again? Nope. Give up hope. I think Age of Sigmar is awesome, and it's the golden age, guys. Like, you go on Age of Sigmar groups, everyone's just now starting. They don't know what's going on. That never comes back. Bluffer says, have fun at Valhalla. I will. No way around it. I actually think Valhalla, I don't know how, but I think Valhalla is going to be some kind of watershed. So, and as you guys know, I'm running BTP out of a home, which is fantastic, by the way. It's a great place. I'd show you around, but I'm kind of like I didn't even want to say anything because I'm having a private life now. And it's good. And I got all this stuff in storage, but I haven't been out to the storage unit in like a month and a half now. So apparently I don't need that stuff. So I actually want to sell it all. I'm hoping to find a taker at Valhalla to like just, you know, because I'm ready to start it all over again. And just for fun, you know. Let's see. And it'll be different this time because I know what I'm doing. And I know what things are not realistic. Hey, Shawn, do you have a favorite Space Marine chapter? The answer is, I'm going to say I have a couple that come to mind. Hold on, let's think. I like Ultramarines, just because they're clean and crisp. Love Black Templars, great conversion possibilities. Imperial Fists have great colors to them. The yellow is really fantastic. Yeah, but I'm really not an Imperials guy. If I did Space Marines, I'd just do my own chapter. Do you have any more advice about meditation? Don't try and force it. Typically, meditation is like, oh, you lay down and you think about nothing. Oh, but then you go to sleep. Well, first off, sleep is okay. Sleep kind of clears the banks. Just be careful when you wake up not to immediately start grousing about the same thing as when you went to sleep. That's called dominant vibration. Like, what are you thinking about? Like, what's your vibe? Like, what's going on inside of you at any given time? And be honest. It's just, you got to be honest with yourself. It's like, well, you know, most of the time I'm kind of worried. I kind of grouse about other humans, and, you know, that used to be what was my truthful answer. Now it's like, well, most of the time I'm relaxed and optimistic. And that's good. That's not quite up to the maximum level of feeling like blissful or joyful or in control. What do I mean by in control? Like that you have a say in what's going on. And there you go. So anyway, don't try and force it. That's my advice. And do some kind of meditation where you're doing something. Like a tea ceremony, that's type of meditation. And because you gotta, your brain, I would hazard to say that for most humans, their brain is it's a machine that's gone off the rails. And looks like I got plenty of room on this disc. Good. It's gone off the rails. It's presenting these horrifying scenarios to you all day long. That's how I was. And now that's gone. And that was the big thing that I accomplished last year and that I'm still accomplishing, is that I've changed my dominant vibration. I've changed how I generally feel all the time. That's a big deal. It's a relief. Like, I go out for a walk and I just feel good. And, you know, all these worries have kind of like, they've just gotten farther and farther and farther away. And again, my realization, there was like, well, there's nothing I can do about it. There's like, it was too much. And then of course what I really believe, which is I created all that for myself to begin with, by worrying about it, by focusing on it. And whatever I focus on, I get more of that. So, yeah. And I've certainly found that when I focused on different things, affirmations is a great way to do that. So back to the meditation thing, look up affirmations. A good place to start is Louise Hay. And that's like, that'll just, if you're going to bed stressed out, put on some Louise Hay. Everything will be okay. She's like grandma that comes and just is like, you know what? It's all right. You don't have to worry about all this stuff. It's like, oh, thank God. All right, you should pose some questions to us and then review the answers. Might find it easier to connect with people, says David Taylor. Thanks. Okay, here's what I want to know. I want to know, well, first off, I want to know ages of people. Like, what age are people, like, tuning in? And then I want to hear something that's going right in your life. That's a good exercise. Because a lot of times, casual conversation sort of defaults to griping, I've noticed. And I do it too. Like, oh, da, da, da. And even if you've got good news, then it's like, yeah, but then there's this. And it's like, oh, you know. And then I thought, oh, what if in our society, we're not allowed to have things go good for us? We're not allowed to be like, hey, my life is great. Oh, that's in poor taste. And I'm like, could be an upper limit problem. Oh, it's good. So sometimes people, if they say, hey, how you doing? And it's not a greeting. It's like, you know, friend you haven't seen for a while. I say, hey, let me tell you what's going right with my life. Let me tell you what's going great today. And then I'll try and name like 5 things or 10 things, you know. And what's going great with me is I cooked my first pork chops and they turned out awesome. Can't wait to do them again. A pork chop, if they're cut lean, like 1/4 inch, you know, it's like bacon. It's like a big slab of bacon. Oh man, I put diced, minced, fresh, son of a whore.